afternoon. Today we will present about the incorporation of companies and share capital, which is include Companies Act 1965 and Companies Act 2016. This is first we will go through to the brief overview of Companies Act 1965. Then we go through to brief overview of Companies Act 2016, and we go through to the difference between two acts, issues and significant operational impact of company. For the introduction, I will explain about the incorporation. Incorporation is the legal process used to form a corporate entity or company. A corporation is a separate legal entity from its owners. While for share capital refers to the funds that a company raised in exchange for issue and ownership interest in the company in the form of shares. There are two general types of share capital, which are common stock and preferred stock. Next, we go through to the brief overview of Companies Act 1965 for incorporation. In this incorporation, there is a formation of companies that describes two or more persons associated for any lawful purpose. Company may have limited shares, limited by guarantee, limited both by shares and guarantee, or unlimited company. There have subsection 4.1 content restriction, limitation and prohibition. Subsection 1 include in the memorandum or articles that may be incorporated as private company. Subsection 2 inconsistent in any provision already include memorandum or article of the company, restriction, limitation and prohibition.
Okay, next, I will explain about the brief overview Company Act 1965. First, share capital division and division 3 under scope of share. There are three sections. Okay, there are three sections. Explain about the share capital. There is section 62 Company Act 1965, section 63 and section 64. 3.
For brief overview of Companies Act 2016 for incorporation, there are two different sections from 1965 to 2016 by section 14 and 122 in Company Act 1965. By public companies, they are using minimum of 2 members and minimum of 2 directors for signatures. But for private companies, there are minimum of 2 members and minimum of 2 directors. But if we see here for the section 19 and 196 of the Company Act 2016, by the public companies, they are using only 1 members and minimum 2 directors. It's the same with these public companies in Companies Act 1965. But for private companies, use only 1 members and 1 directors.
Okay. Next, we continue with a brief overview of Company Act 2016 in share capital. Okay, there are 4 sections in this Company Act 2016. First, in section 618, it provides still recognize the amount unpaid on shares as the difference between the issue price of the share, which is excluding premium and amount paid. For the second section, which is section 85, provides that the Company Act 2016 has included a provision to a safeguard existing shareholder. It provides that where a company issue new shares which rank equivalent to existing share as the voting or distribution rights. For the third section, which is section 2, subsection 1, it tells about a share by whatever name called which does not entitle the holder to the right to the vote on a resolution. And for the last section, which is section 9.1, subsection 1, it allows the right attached to the preference shares to be modified or varied
if the company's constitution has provided the procedure for the version of class right.
3.
Next, we go through to the differences between two acts in corporation. First is Section 14 Companies Act 1965 vs Section 14 Companies Act 2016. It's about the formation of the companies. In Section 14 1965, there are two or more persons associated, while for Section 14 2016, one or more person. Then Section 4 vs Section 10 Companies Act 2016, there are the difference is types of the company, which is in Section 10 Companies Act 2016, there is only three, which is limited guarantee, limited shares, unlimited company. And then we go through to the Section 16 Companies Act 1965 vs Section 18 Companies Act 2016.
3.
For Section 37 Companies Act 1965 and Section 154 Companies Act 2016, the difference that we can see is the requirement of register with register. In Companies Act 2016, there are more flexibility regarding the registration. It's all given by the register. Next is Section 4 Companies Act 1965 vs Section 11 Companies Act 2016. The difference is constitution, which is in Section 4. It has mandatory and optional, while for the Section 11 Act 1965, there is only optional, which is the except for companies limited by guarantee. Next is the Section 35 Companies Act 1965 and vs Section 183 Companies Act 2016. It's about the difference between common seal, which is in Section 35. We can see that it has mandatory, which is required to have common seal under the current regime. While for the Section 183 Companies Act 2016, it has only optional, which is the maybe or maybe not have common seal. Next is the Section 50 Companies Act 1965 vs Section 42 Companies Act 2016. The difference is about the private company, which is in Section 15. The company that have share capital may be incorporated as a private company, while for the Section 42, the company that have limited guarantee shall be a public company. And lastly is the Section 112 Companies Act 1965 vs Section 19 Companies Act 2016. The difference that we can see that is change of certificate of the registration.
3.
Okay, next is the difference between the difference between Act 1965 and Act 20.
2016. 3.
Okay, the difference between these two acts under share capitals, we can see through Section 54 versus Section 78 2016. It about return of allotment. And for the Section 64 versus Section 115, it about reduce of share. For Section 91 Company Act 1965 and Section 70 Company Act 2016, it's about nature of share. And next, Section 99 versus Section 100 Company Act 2016 is about numbering of share. For Section 63 Company Act 1965 versus Section 108 Companies Act 2016 is about validation of shares. For next, Section 62 versus Section 84, it's about power of company to alter its share capital. And next, Section 72 versus Section 74, it's about no par value shares. For last but not least, Section Section 59 versus Section 73 is about power to issue share.
Okay, for issues and significant operational impact on company. For incorporation, there are about 3 issues. First is issue of constitution. Second, Company Act 2016 require for 2 signatures. Third is transition concerns relating to winding up. Okay, first, issue of constitution happens when company considering adopting a constitution. It becomes a question when their present measure and accusation is compliant with the Company Act of Company 2016 or to retain the existing one. Section 66 in bracket 2 Companies Act 2016 state that a document is validity executed by the company if certain signature requirements are met, and the transition concerns relating to winding up. Same practitioner take it that Company Act 2016 has been replaced and want to apply the Act completely, but the new Act does preserve ongoing winding up proceeding and where there must be continuous on under Company Act of 1965.
Okay, as we all know, there are many differences between the Company Act 1965 with the Company Act 2016. Thus, there are many issues happen when the Act is changes. Actually, there are many issues, but I just explain 2 of it. First, reduction of capital. Reduction of capital. With Company Act 2016, reduced share capital by passing a special members resolution by its shareholder and supported by a solvency statement made by the director declaring that the company has satisfied the solvency test. Solvency test means in these issues required that there are no grounds on which the company could be found to be unable to pay its debts. And the second, make sure that the company be able to solve the debt within the time given. Okay, for the second one is no par value regime. No par value regimes, actually par value means the minimum price at which share can be issued. Thus, with no par regime value will affect the share, which is will no longer follow the concept of share at the discount or at the premium.